Hello. Welcome back for episode 2. We're here with Bex Craig and Maya Russo. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Bex Craig. I'm from Northern Ireland, and I am the current graduate assistant of Mercyhurst University Women's Soccer Program. I've been at Mercyhurst for the last 6 years, and
That's a long time.
I don't know what to say now.
That's alright.
And that's it. That's all you need to know.
Hi, I'm Maya Russo. I am from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am going to be a senior on the women's soccer team.
Alright. I guess I'll throw my first question at you, Maya. How much waste would you say is produced on a bus ride for an average size team, like our team, for example? Nothing elaborate, just
Per game?
per trip, yeah.
I would say anywhere from a bag and a half of garbage to 2, maybe 2.5 at most.
Okay.
Depends on the length of the trip.
It depends on the length, if it's an overnight, if it's only a few hours or an hour, or 5 minutes to Gannon.
Fair enough.
So,
Quite a range.
Yeah. So Bex, you were both a player and now you're a coach for our team. So based on your experiences, would you say sustainability in our department was really ever an issue that you thought about during your time here, or not so much?
Honestly, not so much because, well, as a player on away trips, you're in a bus for anywhere between 5 minutes down the road to Gannon to 7 or 8 hours to East Stroudsburg. So on those away trips, you literally just wanted to get off the bus. Okay, clean up your area, throw it in any bag possible, and then just get off the bus. So you wouldn't really think, oh, I've got 4 water bottles this trip, I should probably recycle these, as opposed to the like food waste that I've produced as well on this trip with depending on whether we got Subway or pizzas or anything else. You don't really think, you just throw everything in one container. Even in the locker room, it's just kind of like, okay, clean it up, that's no problem.
Yeah.
Throw it in the trash, doesn't matter what it is, just make sure it's clean and then get out of there.
and even you also have to think about the waste that we don't put into the trash bags, because a lot of the times, like, we'll just pick stuff up and put it into our own bags and then throw it away inside.
That's actually a really good point.
You know, we don't always throw it into the trash bag. Like, I know there's been multiple times I end up with 3 water bottles that are like a sip or 2 left in my soccer bag when I get off the bus.
You've got the bag at the front, the bag at the back. If you're in the middle of the bus, sometimes you don't want to go to the back to throw out your waste because there's like 6 people lying on the floor that you don't want to you want to cross paths with them. So you're right, you throw it in your bag just to save hassle.
Yeah. So if you had to, I guess, rate the sustainability of our whatever we've got going on, like, how would you, do you think it is sustainable, or do you think we could definitely have some room for improvement?
I mean, we throw away our trash. We're not leaving garbage everywhere, so I guess in some way we're sustainable. We're not throwing away trash, but we're not recycling. We're not caring about any waste that we have. We're not separating anything. We're not putting it where it should go from an environmental standpoint. So, I mean, what do you want me to rate it out of? 5, 10?
Yeah, I mean,
we're between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
We're between 1 and 2 out of 5.
Okay.
For sure. Like, we don't leave trash when we go. We make sure that if we're in an away game, if we're on the bench, we make sure we clean up our benches. Again, not throwing water bottles into recycling, but we're making sure there's no trash just lying, being wasteful, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, probably a solid 1 to 2 out of 5.
All right. You feel the same way?
Yeah. We also don't have the option. It's not something, honestly, that I've consciously thought about, and I'm sure not a lot of us have thought about consciously. If, you're on the bus, you have your trash bags. There's not, let's have a recycling bag for water bottles in here, and then food waste in here, which is something we could probably look to do, actually.
And a lot of the time, for example, at my work, like, all of our trash cans, we have black garbage bags, and then all of our recycling are those clear garbage bags.
Yeah.
So even on the bus, we could have a black one for trash and the clear one for recycling, so then you know the difference.
Absolutely.
And we still have the option to recycle, so have just, like, trash in the back and recycling up front or something.
Idea.
Yeah.
I feel, and then it takes the person to be like, oh, you actually can't recycle that. Because I know for myself what I recycle.
Yeah.
Can I recycle the bottle caps? Can I not?
Yeah.
Is it just the bottles?
Yeah.
What about this like food container I have, or this paper bag that had food in it, but maybe?
Yeah, and a lot of the times when you do recycle at home, you rinse things out so you can recycle it,
And
but
you don't have that
you don't have
luxury.
that option on the bus.
Right.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
the
it's
other
definitely a
thing to look
difficulty.
into. Yeah.
Okay. I guess, well, we really covered a lot of the questions I was going to ask you there, but my last one for you is, do you think there's any parallels you can draw between living a sustainable lifestyle and being a member of a sports team? So, like, in terms of attitude, like, morals, stuff like that. Do you have anything, I guess, that really jumps out at you, like outlook types of stuff?
Well, you'll always have those members of the team that are very conscious of, like, whenever a coach says, okay, ladies, like, let's make sure we clean up our area, you have the same, like, handful of people that will make sure that they've picked up trash, even if it's theirs, if it's not. They're conscious that, okay, we can't leave trash lying out. Maybe it's from a tidiness perspective. I don't know if necessarily it's a sustainability perspective, but
I'm sure you could compare it.
yeah,
you know?
you'll always have those personalities that do care about the perception they leave, whether there's trash, and then you'll have those people that really genuinely care about the environment, which is awesome, and they consciously know, but they're not that they're fighting a losing battle, but 1 out of 20 who cares. Of course they're making a difference, but it's like you're going against the grain a little bit with everyone else just wants to kind of get out of there, get their trash out of the way, don't care where it goes, it's just not sitting out. So it can be tough for those that care, because other people just it's an education thing. I think there's not enough education.
Right. And I feel like from my perspective as one of those people, like on the team, it's, you don't really look at it that way, but more as just a chance to kind of like, oh, maybe I can kind of sway someone's opinion or get someone else to think about it. So it's not always a bad thing, but I know what you mean. Like, it definitely is something that it needs to be looked at more.
What would you do so if you've got your 3 points now to try and help make Mercer's women's soccer more sustainable this season, what are your 3 biggest points? How would you change it? How would you make us more sustainable?
Definitely, I think, like, physical separation of the bags. You know, I used to just kind of carry a little grocery bag onto the bus and be like, oh, if anyone has bottles, we'll take that. But if you have a clear bag and a black bag, it gives people, they're completely different. A visual difference.
And it doesn't it gives them no excuse either.
Right.
You have no excuse to not recycle that, or no excuse to put trash into the recycling bag.
At that point,
Absolutely.
you're just being kind of ignorant or
Yeah,
negligent.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
And then maybe, I guess, after that, yeah, that's a really good point. Just being more vocal, I think, because, like, I would usually just say to the couple people around me, like, oh, if you have a bottle, throw it my way. Like, I wouldn't go up in front of the bus and be like, girls, if you have something, give it to me.
Yeah.
Like, that, if you're vocal about it, I feel like people will actually pay attention, which is nice. Because it's not like you ever get any backlash from that kind of stuff. People just don't think about it, like you said.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of just back of the mind, like,
oh, I'll do it in my house maybe, like, oh, because I can see there's a blue bin and I can see there's a black bin.
Yeah.
But on the bus there's just a black bag, so it makes sense with
Yeah.
the visuals of the two that it's like, okay, yeah, and here and here.
I think the, like, most challenging part, though, of trying to make our team more sustainable is the fact that when we eat during away games, even if the container our food comes in is recyclable, we can't clean it out there and then to put it into the recycling, so we're just contaminating everything else.
Yeah.
And I would say that would be the most challenging part, is either finding places where we have stuff that we can recycle from it without that problem, or or where they're just using less waste.
Right.
Because we already face challenges with where to eat after away games.
Exactly.
Like, do we want to sit down and eat somewhere and take up an extra 2 hours and then go home, or do we want to just get somewhere quick, get all the to-go containers, and then head back to Erie? So I guess there's a lot of challenge. It's like a loaded question, because it's like, well, there's so many external factors. If people want to get home to either make a class that they're going to be late for, or they want to get home to do homework that they need to do for tomorrow. So it's, of course, we could, after every away game, sit down at a restaurant and take away all that waste, and use our silver knives and forks and use our proper plates and have them washed, but people want to get home. They don't want to sit around for an extra 2
yeah.
hours.
I think that would just be the most challenging part of making our
Absolutely.
team more sustainable.
Agreed.
Yeah. Awesome. I guess last question, if any of our listeners are athletes, what would you say to them to kind of, I don't know, give them advice on this issue? I mean, we covered a lot of things, really.
We did. Actually, one other point kind of off the topic of that question. We could, instead of buying cases of plastic water bottles, like we used to in high school, because like we used to have to bring our own water jug to whatever next field, so we'd have a seat with just one of those big Gatorade, orange coolers.
Interesting.
So we could, and like those fit right in the seats. It would stay. It wouldn't spill.
Right.
That's true. That's
Takes
So-
up the same amount of room.
Great.
Exactly. It would still take up the same amount of room. It's not like anything different. So we could start using one of those, because that would last us a bus ride, opposed to plastic water bottles. And then everyone just has to bring their own bottle, and then we're not using any plastic.
That's a great
So that would cut back a lot.
suggestion. Actually, I'll take that on board, honestly. Do you think that people might run into conflicts with, oh, now I have to go buy a water bottle?
No,
Or do you think
everyone has
people
a
are-
water
Absolutely not. And most of the time, like teams have their own water bottles that they take to the field with them. Like we have all of our Gatorade bottles,
Yeah.
so they're already on the bus. So if someone doesn't have one, they can just use that and just return it at the end of the trip.
Yeah.
True. And I can bring that up with our ATs this year and see if we
I
can
think-
implement that, because I think that makes a lot of sense. It also will save money too.
Yeah,
Like, not
seriously.
that water bottles are expensive, but like
And
you probably spend about $75 per season on
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
which is $75 that could be spent on other equipment.
And
Right.
with our locker room, well, our temporary one being right there next to AT, just fill it up and the bus will be right out those
That's
doors. So
true.
it's not like we
Yeah.
have to carry it that far.
That's true.
It's a great idea.
I know. I'm
it's
pumped
actually really
about
good.
this. I'm glad I have
Yeah.
such smart people around me. That's
Right.
awesome.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up there, but thank you guys both for joining us today.
Thanks for having
And
us.
then for the rest of you, our next podcast will be with Emily Bach, who will give us more of a international student. She's also an athlete, but more of an international student perspective on campus sustainability. So see you then. Thank you.